Welcome back to Sunrise. Well, we turn attention to the news making the rounds about the Paris Club refund, the states, what are they doing, how are they faring with it. We've got Femi Akorede, Senior Special Assistant on Media to the Governor of Kwara State. He joins us on the line this morning. Good morning, Mr. Akorede, and thank you for joining us today. Could you tell us, because the news almost everywhere, that pensioners protesting, state governors not wanting to honor or pay pensioners, especially haven't received these funds. What's going on in your state, for instance?
Well, thank you. First of all, Kwara State received 5.1 billion from the Paris Fund refunds, which was 12.5% short of what the state government was expecting, which I imagine happened to other states as well. Immediately that money was received, His Excellency Governor Fatah Ahmed directed that 1 billion naira be released to local government councils in the state to clear part of their salary arrears. A further 312 million is going to tertiary institutions in the state to also clear part of their salary arrears that was caused by the drop in allocation last year. As we go ahead, further announcements will be made regarding the any other arrears to ministries, departments, and agencies in terms of their subventions, which will also help towards clearing salary arrears. We must also emphasize that this money was actually appropriated in the 2017 budget for capital and recurrent expenditure. And the governor has said that this payment, like other incomings into the state, will go towards paying infrastructure projects and other welfare projects that will benefit all residents and citizens of Kwara State.
How do you mean the monies were appropriated in the budget? Is it the monies that were just paid, or you knew how much was coming and therefore appropriated them?
Yes, there was a projection. The state government had several meetings with the Ministry of Finance, Federal Ministry of Finance, and there was projections in terms of what was expected. That's why I said this payment was short by 12.5%. So the government had an indication of what should come or what was expected. And as you understand, the budget is a statement of intention. So based on that expectation, this money that has just come was appropriated as part of the 2017 budget as passed into law for capital and recurrent expenditure.
Now, beyond Kwara State to other states, let's take a look at how the spendings or the disbursement of this or the appropriation of these monies are. We're having unconfirmed reports in some other areas that perhaps the state executives are not using these monies to pay the 70% of the monies to pay the salaries, as it were, not unlike what you're doing in Kwara State.
Well, let me clarify something. I think we should not take the federal government statement regarding that 70% as a blanket issue. What the federal government said, and I read it in a statement, was that states that owe salaries at the state level should apply 7% of those funds towards salary payment. Now, bear in mind that money was not paid in full, 12.5% short. Secondly, these are monies owned by states, so we should not expect the federal government to be paying money that it owes to the state government and also be telling them in a blanket manner what to utilize the money for. I can only speak for the governor of Kwara State, and I've told you that one, this money was appropriated in the budget. Two, he has directed that 1.3 billion naira of this money should go towards salary arrears. We also have gratuity arrears, a couple of months, that in the coming days we expect that monies will be released towards paying gratuity arrears, and also for those pensioners at the state level who had issues with their paperwork and are owed pensions of a month or thereabout. Some of the monies will go towards that. But we must bear in mind, and a lot of people on your program also say this, that states have a responsibility to also implement infrastructure projects and other projects that concern the role of the residents and citizens of those states. So speaking for Kwara State, the state government has been very transparent. It will continue to be. But we must emphasize that this money was appropriated in the budget and will go towards recurrent expenditure, including salaries and subventions to ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as infrastructure that will benefit all residents and citizens of Kwara State.
Will it be better for your state, for instance, to have chunk of the money spent on infrastructure development rather than paying salaries?
Well, it's a balancing act, and that is something almost every government, I imagine, is confronted with in this country. Do you focus on consumption, or do you focus on spending that have immediate, medium, and long-term benefit? With regard to Kwara State, we are lucky that we do not have salary arrears at the state level. At the state level, the state government does not owe any workers, and I've emphasized this on previous episodes of your show. So what challenges are in Kwara State are basically at the local government level, which, as we understand, is funded separately by the federal government, and therefore has separate challenges. The challenge is balancing between consumption and expenditure. But consumption is not something that will take us very far. So we need to balance that with infrastructure that will benefit all residents and citizens of Kwara State and ensure that there's the welfare and security that the governor signed up to protect in Kwara State. Okay.
What's your views? What's your stand when it comes to the ongoing debate on autonomy for local governments? What's your take on that? Would you prefer, for instance, that monies meant for the local government be paid directly by the federal government to a separate account and then make them fully autonomous?
Well, it is Governor Fatah Ahmed's position that before we talk about autonomy for local governments, we need to reform those local governments. Now, his position is that a lot of these local governments were set up along political rather than economic lines, and that if you now go ahead and grant autonomy to them, a lot of them will be in trouble. I refer you to the NUT's position on this autonomy, where they are insisting on salaries of teachers being made first-line charge. That says a lot about their confidence in the capacity of these local government councils to be able to meet their obligations if we grant this autonomy we're talking about. So we should not see this autonomy as a magic bullet that will solve all problems at the local level.
All right.
Unless these problems are solved in terms of the structure of our local government.
All right, Femi, we need to anchor at that point.
We don't think those are the problems. Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Femi Aide, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Kwara State on Media. All right, then we're back in a moment. Join us again.